which is ECOWAS protocol, which is said is against amendments to electoral law 6 months to an election. We find it funny that our president was quick to cite that law while conveniently ignoring its very important proviso, which negates its excuse. For the avoidance of doubts, Article 2.1 of the ECOWAS protocol says in clear terms that amendments to electoral laws could be done, but such amendments must be, and I quote, with the consent of a majority of political actors, unquote. Why then did the president ignore this provision while using order to refuse to sign the bill into law in preparation for a grand electoral haste in 2019? We want to remind Nigerians that the amendments were made in order to have better legal frameworks for delivery of very free and fair elections in accordance with Article 6 of the ECOWAS protocol, which states that, and I quote, "The preparation and conduct of elections and the announcement of results shall be done in a transparent manner," unquote. We all know that the introduction of card readers in the 2015 elections made a lot of positive difference. However, the Supreme Court has noted the lack of legal backing for the use of card readers in elections in Nigeria. That fact informed the decision to amend the law and make the use of card readers compulsory in elections to ward off impostors, impersonators, and blatant writing of concocted election results. We have already been told that 13.5 million persons voted in 2015 without card reader accreditation, and 75% of them in President Buhari's then stronghold. We therefore see the president's decision not to sign the bill as a direct, open threat to the integrity of the elections, and it is not funny at all. We call on him, therefore, to have a rethink and sign the bill into law without any further delay. We are even surprised that President Buhari could cite the ECOWAS protocol as a basis for his decision not to sign the bill into law. This is the same president who has repeatedly disobeyed orders made by the ECOWAS court, which is a product of the same protocol. But he is relying on the protocol now because he believes it serves his ambition to win the coming election at all costs. To let the president know that nothing short of free and fair elections will be acceptable and accepted next month. The APC has been a lawless party, and we are aware of its plan to unleash that lawlessness on the nation during elections. This country needs peace, and we as opposition will make it impossible for the APC to plunge the nation into chaos with its plan to use raw state power to rig elections and give itself undeserved victory in the coming polls. We promise to engage bumper to bumper anyone who wants to rig the elections. We also deplore the tardiness and the lack of political will on the part of President Buhari to make far-reaching and long overdue reorganization of the security architecture of the country. This especially is a key reason for the deteriorating conditions of the nation's security, especially the fight against terrorism. Specifically, we ask President Buhari to read what the ECOWAS protocol says on the role of armed forces and the police in elections. Article 1E of the protocol clearly states that the armed forces, I quote, must be apolitical, unquote. It also forbids governments from deploying these forces against political rivals. That provision is being breached daily by the APC federal government, which is jittery because of an impending electoral defeat, which, by God's grace, will be their lot next month. We therefore call on President Buhari to quickly restore Nigeria's confidence in the armed forces by injecting fresh blood into the leadership of the military and curb the excesses of the police, which has been too involved in politics to the point of arresting vocal Nigerians on phantom charges and even aiding the disruption of national and state houses of assembly by good laws. We hold that the security and armed forces need to be reinvented. The current service chiefs have worked very hard and have given a very good account of themselves. However, there is no one in this world who can deliver forever. That is why the system set a limit for service for all in public and even in private service. If there are persons serving as service chiefs who should have retired, they should be allowed to go so that fresh persons with fresh ideas can come and win the Boko Haram war for Nigeria. The president recently claimed that he is keeping the service chiefs because he didn't want competing ambitions to affect the security system. We are surprised that General Buhari could say that, given the fact that he knows that competition and healthy rivalry is a culture in the military. Every officer knows that very healthy manner starts right from the academy and continues throughout the service of officers. That is why we say, soldier go, soldier come, barrack remains. As I said earlier, no one can be good forever. Keeping in office a person who should have gone on retirement is suspicious and counterproductive at the same time. We suspect that the plan is to use them for the coming elections, and this is manifesting already in the introduction of intimidation measures such as Operation Python Dance being launched in all states of the Federation, even when there is no security emergency to warrant such a drastic measure. It is gratifying to note that the US Congress, at a hearing last month on Nigeria's coming elections, expressed fears that the misuse of the security forces by Nigeria's federal government could be the undoing of the polls. We hope our president is being guided by historians who should remind him of the futility of fighting against fate. It is becoming increasingly clear that while the opposition and indeed a majority of Nigerians are preparing for elections next month, the APC is preparing for rigging. That was why its presidential candidate, who is the incumbent president, refused to append his signature to a bill that will give the electoral process integrity and credibility. They are even reportedly planning what they describe as low-key campaigns, while they plot how to insulate their candidate from campaigning and debating with opponents and tell Nigerians why they must trust him with their lives for another 4 years. President Muhammadu Buhari has indeed said Senator Bola Tinubu will do the campaigns on his behalf. We do hope that he was misquoted. Otherwise, Nigerians should simply ask him to step back from the contest and let his party put Tinubu forward as its candidate. President Buhari will go down as the first candidate in history to hire a proxy in a presidential contest. He is the one contesting. He should not be afraid to be the one to interface directly with Nigerians. We urge Nigerian people to insist that President Buhari must show that he is fit and able for the nation's top job by leading his own campaign and by being at the presidential candidates debate. Anyone who is afraid to come out and debate shoulder to shoulder with opponents and speak directly to Nigerians is not deserving of the mandate of Nigerians. It will be nice to have President Buhari man the rostrum in all the 36 states. It will also be nice to see him debate with our candidate and answer questions on his stewardship so far and what else he has to offer. We sincerely look forward to that day. Another issue that is of INEC. A referee must not only be impartial, it must also be seen to be impartial by reasonable people at all times. We view the ongoing controversy on the appointment of Mrs. Amina Zakaria of INEC as unhealthy for our polity. The needful must be done to ease that woman out of that responsibility so that all parties and the electorate can feel safe in the hands of the electoral umpire. Nigerian people are suffering. Their suffering stems principally from the arrogant ineptitude of the APC government. President Buhari recently asked Nigerians to expect tougher times ahead. We view that comment as an admittance of failure and a declaration of economic war on Nigeria and Nigerians. It is also a caveat emptor, a warning from General Buhari to Nigerians against voting for him and buying a second-term offer. The APC and its government are bereft of ideas, but they are too conceited to admit their lack of knowledge and seek help. Instead, they have spent almost 4 years blaming everyone else apart from themselves for their calamitous failure. They started by first denouncing all their 2015 promises. They then plunged the nation into an unavoidable recession because they could not set up a government in the first 6 months. They then proceeded on a systematic and mindless destruction of every facet of our national life. It has never been this bad for ordinary Nigeria. It is so bad that the image of Nigeria as the poverty capital of the world is seen clearly daily in the mystery in which the masses of our people live. UNICEF has just announced that we have the highest number of out-of-school children in the whole world. Public universities have been on strike for several months, while the party in government behaves unconcerned, focusing only on how to rig the coming polls and extend its failed tenure beyond May 29 this year. This is what any nation with the kind of leadership we have since 2015 should expect. The levity with which the lifeless APC government has taken education since it came to power can only lead to a wreckage of the system, which it has successfully done. While many people should therefore jointly work with us to retrieve the nation from the lifeless APC. Finally, gentlemen of the press, you have seen the government entering panic mode in the last couple of weeks. That is to tell you that the incumbent knows the price of defeat and will do anything to hang on to power. We therefore call on all Nigerians, civil society organizations, and the international community to be more involved in the process leading to the coming elections. As for us, the CUPP, we have resolved that God and the people, with God and the people behind us, we will remain firm, up and doing, and resolute going forward. The spirit of a new Nigeria has been born and is already at work. The election of February 16, 2019 will show clearly whether Nigeria belongs to the Nigerian people or to the party of buccaneers and political merchants called the APC. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the die is cast. I thank you. God bless you.